Hi guys, JB and Minot here for my friends at oneupandyoutube.com. This is a video segment of an old blog I used to do on OneUp called my likes and dislikes for every month. And I did it for months while I was on oneup.com, but I did it by blog. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a video version of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a list of my likes and dislikes for the month of May. By the time you see this, it should be about June 5th. So I'm a little bit late, but this is my first time doing this, so bear with me. Feel free to leave comments and whatnot. I want to give a shout out to all my friends on oneup.com and youtube.com. I now have 317 subscribers, so I want to thank you for that. And these likes and dislikes aren't going to necessarily be video game related, although there will be some video game stuff, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, here we go. First, I want to start off with one of my likes, and that is the death of Osama bin Laden. My only problem with it is why it took 10 years, I don't know. But I'm glad he's dead. I give credit to the president for ordering it, although I don't think it was a hard decision to make. I give credit to the CIA, and I especially give credit to all those brave Navy SEALs who went out and went after him and got him. So I thank God that he's finally, well, I thank God he's finally out of the picture, that he's not able to present himself a danger anymore. I prayed that they would catch him. I prayed that for 10 years, and they finally done it. So good on you, and congratulations, Navy SEALs. Now for a dislike. My first dislike is the piss poor selection of games, of 3DS games, in the month of April. Okay, there was one game for the 3DS, and Nintendo 3DS released in April, and that was Splinter Cell 3DS. I haven't played it yet, but it hasn't gotten very good reviews. But it's like one game during a launch season. Okay, by now there should be many more games for the 3DS than there are right now. I remember when the Nintendo DS came out, there was a boatload of games that came out about the same time. So, you know, hopefully in June and July they'll start releasing more games. I notice on some of the upcoming titles it looks like there's going to be a lot released in June and a lot released in July, so we'll see what goes from there. Now for a like, I choose Fast 5, starring Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. And it's true, they kind of turned the Fast 5 series into a heist series, which is good. Now, the best parts of the series, the best part of the movie, is when during the actual action sequences. That last chase scene is absolutely awesome. You got to see that last chase scene. It's one of the last scenes in the movie, but they're racing around Rio de Janeiro with a couple of safes and just tearing things up and being chased by all kinds of police. It's just great nail biter, one of the great chase scenes I think of all time. And I like the Fast and the Furious series, and I can't wait for the 6th one. I know they're kind of cheesy, and they are what they are. They're just cheap popcorn movies. But you know what? You get what you pay for. So, and it's not even in 3D, which is good. So, if you get a chance, go see it at a discount cinema, what have you. Now for my next dislike, it's going to be Macho Man Randy Savage dying. I remember back in the 1980s when World Wrestling Federation had good guys and bad guys, and they had a lot of colorful, fantastical comic book type characters. And Macho Man Randy Savage was one of them, him and Elizabeth. And he's just, I love that voice. Hello, this is Macho Man. Oh yeah. You know, I always loved Randy Savage. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss that personality. And I'm going to miss him saying, "Step into a Slim Jim." You know, I'm going to miss that. So I pray for peace for his family, and I hope he's in heaven. Now for my next like. It's going to be a movie called Hannah. It's an art film, but it's kind of an action film at the same time. It's about a young lady played by Cerise Ronan, who has been raised in the woods by her father, who is apparently an ex-CIA agent. And she's been raised in the woods in a cabin. She hasn't seen any kind of civilization or anything like that. Well, eventually, they come up with a plan where Hannah has to leave the woods and be chased by the CIA. They actually caused the CIA to come after them. And there's a secret about this little girl that the head CIA agent that's after her, played by Cate Blanchett, has about her that we find out toward the end of the movie. But anyway, Hannah is a very badass little girl who's never really been taught how to be a little girl, how to be a teenager. And along the way in her journey, in her chase, she meets some people that help her grow up a little bit and help her come of age. And it's a very, very good movie. Eric Bana is the father, and Cerise Ronan, both excellent, excellent performers. The story can be a little bit slow at times, but it's well worth it. There's a fight scene with Eric Bana that's just, with a bunch of other bad guys, that's just excellent. Excellent. My only problem, real problem with the movie, is that normally I don't care for rated R movies all that much. They're rated R just to be rated R. But sometimes when a movie is violent, you have to be rated R about it. There was one scene where Eric Bana kills a guy out of rage. And it's cut, so that's PG-13. But the fact that it's cut kind of takes away the emotional impact from it. So they should have let it be rated R, you know, and go on from there. But other than that, it was an outstanding movie. Now, my next dislike is going to be IGN buying off OneUp.com. You know how on OneUp.com we were pretty much uncensored? Well, guess what? With IGN, that's going to go away. All of their reviewers are biased. They'll review a game depending on how politically incorrect it is, and they'll want to review just about every little cheesy TV show and all this other stuff, which is fine, but I don't like IGN. I don't like how they censor everybody in their message boards, how they'll punish you if you say something they don't like or is not politically correct. So I don't like IGN. I like their reviews sometimes, but other than that, I don't trust them with OneUp.com. If they leave OneUp.com alone, they'll do fine, which I think UGO's pretty much done, although somehow they made OneUp kind of glitchy. But anyway, alright, now for my next like. That's going to be this game here, this little gem called Gem Quest 4 Elements. It's basically like a jewel swapping game, like a normal jewel swapping game, only this time you're trying to, once you break the jewel, it opens up the jewels. It opens up a path for water, air, lava, whatnot. You have to get that lava from one area of the screen to the other area of the screen in a certain amount of time, and you have to break gems to do it. Okay, but it's an addictive game. I played all the way through it. The graphics aren't much to speak of, and toward the end there isn't a whole lot of variety. But I think they should make a sequel to it and put a lot more into it. If they do that, that game might be a masterpiece. But it's from Storm City, and like I said, it's an El Cheapo type game. But it's a good underplayed classic. I like it, so there you go. Now for another dislike, and that would be people who try to friend me on YouTube just to advertise to buy their music or to advertise their music videos. Okay, if you don't want to be my friend, don't friend me on YouTube.com. If you want me to come to your site and look at it, you know, I'll friend just about everybody. I just don't want to friend up with people who are trying to sell me something. Okay, I find that kind of offensive. Okay, now for my next like, and that is going to be Game of Thrones on HBO. I've just started reading the books about 4 months ago. I'm on the 3rd book. The first book is absolutely fantastic, and for the most part, the HBO series is pretty accurate to the book. My only problem now is that they're adding a couple of sex scenes in the show which weren't in the book. Not that the book doesn't have any sex in it, but they're adding a couple of token gay scenes. Yeah, they're both token gay scenes. Okay, there was no scenes of homosexuality or lesbianism in the first book. I can't say they're not in the 3rd through the 5th book. Okay, I can't say that for sure. But, you know, I don't appreciate them adding those kind of scenes in there just because it's HBO. Just because it's HBO, it doesn't mean they have to add tokenism in it. And other than that, it's a fantastic series. If you've got HBO, and if you're 18 or above, it's a great show to watch. The books are excellent too. Thor, the movie. Good movie. My only problem with it was that because of the 3D, it looked like it was filmed in the dark, and I couldn't see hardly any of the action sequences. Chris Hemsworth is a star in the making. I think he's fantastic in it. I thought Anthony Hopkins was excellent in it. My only problem with it was see it in 2D. Maybe you'll see it a little better. The Rainbow Bridge could have been a lot brighter, but the movie was excellent. I'd love to see a sequel, only I want it to be in 2D instead of 3D. Okay, now for my next dislike, and that is idiots who predict the exact day and time of the rapture. Now, some people, they don't even believe in the rapture, which is fine. But here's the thing. The Bible is quite clear. If you call yourself a Christian, then you know that you can't predict the time or the date of Jesus' return. Even Jesus, while he was on this earth, said he couldn't do it. He didn't know. So why is he going to tell you? Okay, this man, there's this one retiree who spent all his life savings on billboards for this guy. And this knucklehead is worth $72 million. And he didn't give up any of his stuff, by the way. So, this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. If anybody tries to tell you this is the day that Jesus is going to return, that is a bald-faced lie. Because it's not in the Bible. The Bible is quite clear. It's black and white. No man knows the day or time. He's going to come like a thief in the night, in the blinking of an eye. It's going to be just like the days of Noah. People are going to be married, and you're given in marriage. One's going to be taken, one's going to be left. And there it is. Okay, now for my next like. And that is going to be Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. A lot of critics didn't like this movie. I liked the movie. I would have liked it better had it not been filmed in the dark for the 3D. But I saw it in 2D and it was still a little dark to me. It could have used a little more action, but the action sequences that were there were fantastic. Other than that, I thought it was a great movie. I can't wait for the sequel. If James Bond can make 20+ movies, surely Jack Sparrow can make 20-something. I like the movie, so a lot of people don't. But, I think it's worth seeing I think it is what it is. And I can't wait to see the sequel. Now for my next dislike. And that is 3D movies. 3D movies, so far, suck. Okay? They're always filmed in the dark, and you can't even see them. Enough with the stupid 3D movies already. Okay? Unless they're part of the actual storyline, they suck. Now for the next like. Dead or Alive Dimensions for the 3DS. I enjoyed this a lot more than I liked Street Fighter 4. It seemed like it was simpler to play. Or, I don't know about simpler to play, but it seems like it wasn't as complicated to figure out the moves. The storyline's a lot better. I think the graphics are a lot better. The graphics are just fantastic in this game. So if you like fighting games, and I think the 3DS is the go-to system for fighting games anymore, because it seems like there's another one coming out called BlazBlue 2, which is getting good reviews. So if you like fighting games, and if you like Dead or Alive Dimensions, you'll like this game. I didn't expect this to be as good as it was. So, okay, now for my next dislike, and that is Legolas in the Hobbit movie. Now, as far as I know, Legolas wasn't in the Hobbit book, so we don't need to see him in the movie. Okay. He's a huge part of the Lord of the Rings, and I understand that, but I don't think we need to add him into the book just to bring people into it, or into the movie just to get people to see The Hobbit. I'm going to go see The Hobbit, whether Legolas is in it or not. Okay, now for my next like, and that is, if you have HBO, there's a movie out on HBO called Too Big to Fail, and it pretty much explains the bailout of the TARP bailout of 2008. Why they did it, and how they went about going to do it, and it also helped to explain how the economy collapsed at the time, and how we almost came into a depression, according to some people. So, if you get a chance to see it on HBO, check it out. There's a lot of expository in the drama, but that's okay because I appreciated how it explained it. It stars William Hurt, it stars James Woods, Topher Grace, Cynthia Nixon, Ed Asner is in it. So it's a well-acted movie. William Hurt was real good in it, and if you get a chance, go ahead and see it. Dislike, I choose the new season of Doctor Who. Now, I've loved Doctor Who ever since I was a teenager. I remember first seeing it with John Pertwee, and then Tom Baker, who is the best Doctor Who as far as I'm concerned. And but now it seems like the storylines are all convoluted, and this Doctor seems a little too bit more touchy-feely. That's been that way since the Christopher Eccleston series. Now the acting is great. Matthew Smith does a great job. My problem with it is the script of the shows, and they make the Doctor speak so fast that you can't understand what they're saying. Plus, I'm just sick of all the whining and moping from Rory and the girl, oh, I forget her name now all of a sudden. I can't remember her name, but she's gorgeous, but, you know, it's just, they seem like they're a burden instead of a companion to the Doctor. And I'm getting sick of River Song. I can't stand that character. You know, I don't think she's attractive, and she's just overly cocky, and she just gets in the way of everything. Okay, it just anyway, I like Doctor Who. I'm gonna keep watching him, but I don't know. He's kind of gone. The show's kind of gone down the tubes a little bit. For my next like and my last like, 2D versions of 3D films making more money than 3D versions. Okay, if you notice in the past couple weeks, if you look up Deadline Hollywood, Nikki Fink's article, both Pirates of the Caribbean and Kung Fu Panda 2, their 2D versions of their movies were each 45% more, made 45% more money than the 3D counterparts. People aren't going to see those 3D movies because they're more expensive. You have to pay extra for the glasses every time, which is bullshit as far as I'm concerned. And it just doesn't look as good as 2D. So I'm glad. I hope this either makes 3D better or it gets rid of 3D altogether and use it just for novelty. Now, last but not least is my final dislike, and that is the tornadoes and floods that are hitting our nation. I know this stuff is normal during springtime, and I probably shouldn't even complain about it, but I pray for all the people in the Dakotas and in the South, and I pray that they get some relief from this bad weather. In fact, here in Minot, we had to evacuate a quarter of the city because of flooding, so I just pray that God sends them relief. Anyhow, those are my likes and dislikes for the month of May. Please tell me what you think. Tell me what I can do to improve on it, and I just pray that you guys have a great weekend or a great week, what have you, or whenever I get this video edited and done, and I hope to hear from you soon. In the meantime, y'all have a great week. God bless you. Bye-bye.